Welcome to another HACSU podcast. And this one, we're following up from the HACSU debate. It was, it's the first time it's been done here in Tasmania. Leaders or members from each party having a debate brought to you by HACSU, the Health and Community Services Union. And joining me now is Robbie Moore, the State Secretary from it. Hello, Robbie.
Hi, Esther. How are you going?
Now, that was huge. I mean, you had Guy Barnett, the Health Minister, and still the Health Minister now.
Absolutely, yes. He's stayed in that portfolio. And in fact, he actually gave me a call just after he was sworn in on Thursday, and we had quite a good discussion about some of the priorities for our members.
I'm really interested to have to hear about that, because that's what this podcast is for. You did the debate. Now we're doing a follow-up. The results are in. We know who's in power or who isn't, and who's going to be making those decisions, and especially what it means for all the different sectors that the Health and Community Services Union covers.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's going to be a really interesting parliament, having, the government having lost a majority and only getting 14 of the 18 seats that it would have needed to get to majority. So it's going to be a really interesting parliament. Jackie Lambie picking up 3 seats. We've also got the independents involved as well. And the good thing is that we've actually got commitments now from a majority of parliamentarians around the portable long service leave scheme that we've been fighting for so long for our disability and aged care members, which would mean that if their employer changes, they will still have their long service leave entitlement, which is a system that's already in place for construction industry, and in some other areas community services have it as well. So we think it's a really exciting time to work with the Parliament that the Tasmanian people have elected and pursue these issues for our members.
When you say a commitment, so it's a done deal. This is going to happen.
Well, we can never take everything for granted because they're politicians and they can promise a lot of things before an election, but we're going to absolutely hold them to account. I've already met with Rosalie Woodruff, the leader of the Greens. She's very keen to look at the portable long service leave. I'm currently trying to get a meeting with the Labor Party, and I've already spoken to a couple of independents about it. And all of those people gave commitments around the portable long service leave, as well as a lot of other health initiatives that we asked them for before the election. Some of that came out during the health debate that you facilitated. And so we're just going to continue to pursue these things because they can actually get through even if the government doesn't support them because of the balance of power now in the Parliament. And
Rosalie Woodruff, of course, yes, she was at the health debate as well, as was Anita Dow from the Labor Party. So it seems very messy, all this political, like everything that's happening. Is this going to hinder or help the makeup of the Parliament for your members?
I actually see this as a real opportunity for our members because no one party has control of the numbers now. It just means that we've got different people to lobby to try and get things through. So we know that the Labor Party have 10 seats, the Greens have 5. That means we only have to get 3 of the independents or the Jackie Lambie network to support something, and it can get through the House of Representatives. Then we, of course, have to get it through the upper house or the Legislative Council as well. But that's very doable. There's a lot of supportive people in the Legislative Council, so we are confident that we'll be able to get some really good initiatives in that are going to help our members every day.
So Guy Barnett remains the Health Minister, and he gives you a call. What's that like? What is a call with the Health Minister like?
Well, it was a bit of phone tag to start with, but once we finally had a good conversation, it went really well. And one of the things that I named up front was the commitment that he'd made at the debate around pharmacists and them getting the market allowance that they need to try and fill the vacancies that they have. He was very much aware that I'd be raising that with him and said that it was one of his top priorities. So we're going to continue to pursue that so that pharmacist positions can be filled throughout the state. But we also talked about the ambulance situation, the 1-hour offload, which is due to start on Monday this week, coming up on the 22nd of April. And we also talked about some of the other major issues in the health system and how we can work together on those things.
So the ambulance, what is that?
So it's a new procedure that's starting a bit later than we would have liked, but it's starting on the 22nd of April, and that will mean that there is now a policy that a patient has to be offloaded as in taken over by the hospital within 1 hour of the ambulance arriving. We've got current situations where people can be ramped for 4 or 5 hours, and it's just unacceptable. It's putting the community at risk because it means the ambulances are not free to go to emergency situations. And so by implementing this procedure, it's going to be a lot better for everyone in the health system.
That's amazing. And so moving forward, moving through the different sectors that you cover, that HACSU covers, and there's a lot of them, what are some of the main priorities with this new government that you'll be fighting for each of the sectors?
Well, I've named up front, obviously, the portable long service leave is a really important reform that we need. We need to do something about allied health professionals. We're losing them to the mainland because they're being paid less, and that's where we need to see the market allowance that I just spoke about for pharmacists. We need to see that rolled out in a lot of other areas. Child and adolescent mental health on the northwest currently have 60% of their positions vacant. We need a market allowance to get those positions filled. That's putting children at risk. But there's a lot of other areas with similar problems, and we just need to fill the current vacancies, but also look at the health system and why bed block occurs, and that includes engaging with the aged care industry, because a lot of the issues are that people need an aged care bed but can't get one, whether it's temporary or permanent, and we need to see the federal and state governments work together. So they're going to be some of the top priorities for us in the next coming few months.
Well, that's the problem, isn't it? Because some things it'll be federal that you have to deal with. Is that like aged care is federal?
That's right. Yeah.
And you've got hospitals which are state, but then if aged care is at its maximum, then those patients are pushed into the state hospital system, and that must be quite frustrating. Like, how do you navigate that?
Yeah, well, it's extremely frustrating when you have two levels of government that can't work together, and aged care and public health is the worst example of that. The reality is that we do have some positive news in that the work value case that we've run to try and get better wages and conditions for aged care workers has now come to an end with some really good outcomes, up to 28% pay rises for aged care workers. So that's going to help with attraction and retention in the aged care sector. But we need to see further work between the two levels of government so that there are beds available for people rather than being trapped in our hospital system, which is clogged up, and people need to be able to get those placements when they need them. Similarly, in the disability industry, we see the same with the NDIS, which takes a long time to get its act together. And again, we see people clogged up in the health system and in our hospitals who actually just need residential support. So we've got to get all of these systems working together, and that's what we would need the state government to start listening to the people on the ground, the people who are doing the work, so that we can fix a lot of these issues.
Robbie Moore, State Secretary for the Health and Community Services Union, thank you for the update post-election, and thank you for watching. You can stay updated on the HACSU socials, and feel free to send inboxes, questions, comments.
Yeah, well, it would be great to get those questions in. We only exist because of our members. They are the organisation, so it'll be great to hear some questions and to continue to push all these really important issues.